Hi, welcome. Thanks for the introduction. We are from Bell Media up in Canada. We are a media company that we stream our video to our customers. Fastly is our CDN for that. As I said, we use Fastly as our CDN to deliver video to our customers. And Fastly has shown us of problems we didn't even know existed in our system. Bell Media is Canada's leading content creator with 35 brands across 14 platforms that are expanding. One such product is our OTT product, Crave. All of our brands come with their own set of live streams and VOD catalogs that span many different interests such as sports, entertainment, and news that are both in French and English. We are part of the Deliver Video Pipeline team. Our responsibility is to take the source video content in and shepherd it through our systems to transcode, publish, host, and eventually deliver it out to the customers using Fastly. I'm Adrian, and I take care of our analytics for the team.
And my name is Loree. I take care of support of the video infrastructure, as well I'm a member of the CDN strategy team at Bell.
Over the next 20 minutes, we are going to focus on how we went from having unknowns in our system to using Fastly as a solution to fill in those gaps so we were able to identify and discover problems in our network and so much more. So that we can know what is going on and work together with Fastly to build a better network for our customers. I'll answer one simple question. Are we having a good day? And our data will tell us that. Thanks, data. We have faced many challenges to answer this question. Having near zero visibility into where in our system issues are occurring. Do we have servers or offline disks that are in bad state? Do we have problematic assets that need to be fixed? We've had to deal with bad QoS quality integrations in our players. Having stability tell us, is there actually even a problem at all in the system? Or is it just bad metrics inflating different problems? Or having to ignore platforms completely because we can't rely on the metrics. If there was a problem, it would become a tedious task of having to look through hourly log files via command line to try and see what the root cause was, or even have to wait until those log lines were available to us. This also caused difficulty knowing whether or not the issue we had was video playback related was either due to video delivery or due to a client or app problem, causing us to possibly fix issues that weren't our problem, adding technical debt to our system. So imagine it's a Friday afternoon. You get an issue escalated to the team. There's a problem with video playback. You ask for more details, you get told there are errors happening. Time to look through the analytics and try to reproduce the issue. All this seems to point to a possible backend issue. So now someone starts looking through the log files, and someone else starts to look at the video origin to see what's going on. After a while, it seems to point to this one server, but there's nothing wrong on that server's health checks. It's all good. So now it's time to reach out to Fastly, to have them investigate. All the while, our customers could still be impacted. Luckily, we had a chance to break away from this. We were just about to launch a new just-in-time packager system, which we could use Fastly support of redirects at the edge, would allow us to build a service in Fastly to support this new system. With this, we could also look into building a tailor-made tool to help support our system and remove those unknowns that we previously were dealing with. So we had the right people who had dealt with the previous analytics systems to take all their knowledge and experience to apply it to this new tool to answer our goal: is our system healthy? And if not, where are there issues? And we need three things for this. We need a source of data, somewhere to store it, and a system to ingest it and look into the data.
Fastly is the answer to the source of the data, as they provide the real-time streaming edge logs. It's easy to integrate, as Fastly provides many destinations for crunching through those logs, as well give us the ability to customize it to our needs. The edge logs also are in a unique position to give us a view of the network from a public viewpoint, which helps us to integrate within our solution. We need to make data part of the team to help us basically do the heavy lifting of monitoring and visualizing the data so that we can benefit from it. So 3 of us took it to themselves to build a proof of concept using basically this solution. We repurposed some old hardware as just a place to store the data, and we used the Elastic as the standard solution for visualizing and the database for our needs. Now was the time to build this POC and see if we can get a value from it. Because also, if it was only a POC, we needed to first see the value before spending a lot of time on it. And once there's value, then we can basically scale it up and out later in order to accommodate basically more use cases in production. By focusing on what we need from the system compared to what everyone else is looking for, we were able to basically build up this POC. And the first thing we have to figure out is that how well this basically is going to behave and give us the value that we're looking for before we can find the success criteria or passing success criteria for POC in order to productize it and give it to production and to operations team to benefit from. We added any nice to have requests to the backlog so that we remain focused on the building the POC, having the foundation set up before we can start actually, customizing it and painting the house blue. We need a foundation. Now that we have the POC set up, our Elk stack was up and running, ingesting the data stream from the Fastly, and we were able to immediately see the value and potential in providing this, in turning this POC into a product that every team at Bell can use in order for on their daily monitoring and development cycles.
So now that we see the value, we started turning this POC into an actual production product the team can benefit from. So we can continue that same focus of adding feature one by one to add more and more value to the system. We can expand the servers we have on to be able to bring more data, or to improve our visualization time on the dashboards. We can set up alerts to tell the team of odd behaviors happening, so they can know of what's going on in the system. We can expand on the insights and what we can get from the logs to get other details that maybe we couldn't get otherwise. We also start looking at those backlog features, those nice-to-have features that the teams asked for, other teams have asked for. As well as, most importantly, we can also provide key performance indicators to the business to tell them how well we're delivering the video to the customer. We can tell them what is our success rate of 200s to the customer, and what percentage of video fragments are we delivering to them under the fragment length. From start to finish, from POC to the product, the team was able to rely on day to day. We were able to do this within a month. So now with a way to visualize the data, we can see behaviors in real time. We can set up targeted alerts based on key metrics like error codes, response times, drops in search type of data, all which can be filtered on key parameters such as origin servers, devices, ISPs, or Fastly pops. So when an alert triggers, we are told a story what is happening. So we can identify issues such as network flaps between an origin server and a Fastly pop. We can tell why we see a reduction in our quality of delivering fragments to the customer due to a bad server, or we can see there's a problem with one of our DRM systems not properly providing keys to the customer for video playback. We also can auto-generate weekly, daily, monthly reports so we can see trends over a longer period of time. So we also analyze these trends to see other important things like what's our viewership like? How many viewers do we have? What's our peak views? What's the content that people are interested in watching? How many pieces of content are people watching? We also see the response time and error code trends to see, are they increasing? Are they do you see improvements happening? We can see areas which we can improve on. Which devices, origin servers, origin locations are underperforming. So now the team can look and try and see, how can we improve those. We also can infer customer-related issues like rebuffering or playback failures. So if we see a response time spike, we can likely guess that there was or buffering occurred for the customers during playback. Or same thing, if we see an increase in error codes, we can expect there's probably interruption in the customer's playback either before on playback start or during playback in the middle of it. We also can see early warnings of hardware failure. So we can see there were servers or disks taken out of the pool due to the health checks, and the team can then look into see why that occurred before we can put them back into the server or back into the pool. We also can see it from the public standpoint of our delivery network. So we can know where there are network issues. Are they internal network issues? Are they external? Do we have an origin site? Or is it a single Fastly POP is impacted? Remember that bad Friday afternoon? All that time taken to investigate and see what's going on? Now here's where we are today. Alerts trigger, and we are driven towards an answer to validate. Then we can escalate to Fastly with clear details on what we're seeing, so we can help them work together to build to an actionable solution if required. This helps reduce both our internal investigation time as well as provide Fastly with the details that they need to have to improve their investigations as well.
Systems are changing all the time, and so this monitoring solution has to cope with. Since this was a homegrown solution, we had all the means to incorporate any changes that are requested. We were able to get asks from the team to basically create a customized dashboard for them. We added new data streams. Initially, we started with live and VOD video playback data. Later, we complemented it with video license data and were able to see the correlation. We also were able to tailor alerts post several incidents in order to clearly show the issues that are coming up in our system. Data can also be an enabler for us that helps us to see where we need to expand our network. Where do we need to invest more to expand our origin clusters versus where can we have our next managed CDN POPs or private POPs deployed. We can also use the data in order to see how best is for our customers to balance our traffic between origins or between the public and private CDN. The use cases really go beyond just monitoring. We use this basically a custom solution in order to prepare custom dashboards ahead of major events that gives the operations teams their specific slice of data that they want to be looking for during those events. You can also use the data to help the development teams, the player and client video player development teams, in order to see where their basically metrics are going off the rails or where are the chances to improve in order to incorporate those changes into their future builds of the app. That way, basically, we help them to reduce the video startup time or likelihood of buffering in their future developments of the app. This data also helps us to identify malicious activity on our system as we're delivering video. There's a lot of, or there's users that are trying to scrape the content or issue attacks against our system. That way we can identify them from the system and block them using the Fastly ACL. We also use this in managed CDN infrastructure or private CDN in conjunction with the data that we get from this monitoring system in order to design a failover scenario that will automatically shift the traffic from public network, public CDN network to our private POPs or the opposite in an unlikely case of an outage. And that way we were able to design a CDN strategy, a multi-CDN strategy using only Fastly. With the data provided by Fastly, we were able to make improvements in our video delivery development teams as well. When updates are done to the apps or to the products, we were able to see the impact before, during, and after the updates are pushed out, so that we could give them feedback on if there was impact or they have been improving on their metrics. Video variant breakdown in the dashboards helps us to see how the customers are consuming those and by looking at that, cut down the varieties that were less popular or used in the public, hence reducing the basically amount of content that we publish, or the variety of the videos that we publish, and enhancing our cache efficiency. In one incident, we found out that there's a bad encode causing a very large fragment as a result of an FFmpeg bug that was present in one of the transcoding profiles we were carrying. That the system helped us to bubble that up, and we take care of the updating and fixing that in future versions of the transcoding. Fastly also allows the developers to move blocks of code or code functionality out of the backend and origin and push it right to the edge to run as a VCL or compute at edge. And that way, basically, you're reducing the workload on your origin. You're able to basically use your origins to accept more traffic, and at the same time reduce the response time and increase the cache efficiency.
So what we learned from this is that in order to best support our system, we need clear insight. Fastly logs is what only Fastly logs can provide that to us. QoS from the player is a good indication of playback issues, but does not tell the whole story. Our solution tells us the health of our portion of the video playback system. Thinking beyond metrics, like responses, time, and errors, we can use our data to break down the amount of traffic that's flowing into each of our origin sites to know what the network throughput is per site. Now we can see if there are internal bottlenecks or possible network issues occurring. Does a lack of data tell you something, or a subset of data tell you something? Maybe if there's a drop in data, this means there could be an issue getting to the video, like an app issue or a login issue. So by testing video playback directly, we can tell if this points to an issue outside of our system. Well, with a surge type of request, that can maybe tell you something. If we see an increase of manifest requests versus fragment requests, this can tell us there's a possible DRM issue. If we're looking at the logs, we can tell it's only one DRM playback, one DRM type, which would point to that something is wrong with that system. You know your system and what dependencies you have, as well as what dependencies others have on you. Can you see that in your data? But know if it's upstream or downstream of you, it can focus your efforts in the right direction, reducing troubleshooting time, as well as being able to be alerted quicker to issues. We were all able to do this with a very small team by targeting what insight we needed to remove unknowns. We also that makes us better able to support our system. We are always adapting to our current environment and being creative with how we use our data. There's so much data, there's so much value you can get from your data. Now, here are some of the benefits we have today. We have shortened customer impact times, greater insight into our system's behavior. We're also be able to answer that question: is the playback issue, is it player or is it video related? We have data-driven decisions now, and our system is more resilient. And thank you so much for your time.